All right, on today's video, we're gonna do a little bit of a garden tour, an official garden tour of what I have here planted behind me. I have 6 rows that I put in last year, and we'll go over that in a little bit more detail. All right, so on this first row, we have planted cucumbers. We got one there kind of dying, but we have a couple right here. These are, I think, long English cucumbers. I can't remember. They have this unique kind of striping. Anybody knows what kind that is or variety, let me know. So we have 2 rows. Here's our second row of cucumbers. We have some guys going here. Here's some more cucumbers that are ready to be picked off. So yeah, this thing is 6 rows. First 2 rows are cucumbers. And then the next 2 rows are tomatoes. So tomato plants are, doing okay. Not that great actually. I think I put them in a little bit too early. I put them in April when it was still a touch cold. And probably was a little aggressive on on pruning. So they've done just kind of okay. The cucumbers have done well, but the tomatoes, not so much. They've done okay. We've gotten some tomatoes off of them. So we have 2 rows of those. And then our last 2 rows, I have kale and collards in, and some peppers. And you can see these all have drip tape, which helps water them. Let's get a shot of the peppers. I forget what kind these are as well. I thought they were Anaheim peppers, but I'm not sure. So this stuff's still going. It's got a little bit of damage from some moss or insects. We have a lot of problems here with ants and earwigs. That's kind of the main problem. You'll see these plastic bottles. I tried doing this borax and sugar little trap. Did okay, but so anyway, so it's 6. And what I did here was, it was all the grass. It was just grass when we moved in. And so what I did is the Charles Dowding approach. I'll put a link in the description so you can follow him. He's an expert gardener out of England. He's just the master at no-till gardening. That's probably one of the most beautiful gardens in the world. So what this concept is here is you just take cardboard, put it right over the grass, and then on top of that you just dump a ton of compost, and you just plant in. You need about 8-9 inches of compost, and I added some natural amendments and stuff like that, some fertilizers, and then you plant. So from my understanding, it takes, at least 2 or 3 seasons to really get it going. This is really just the first year. So, the plants they've done okay. I mean, we had carrots in there earlier last year. So still learning. Definitely a better cook than a gardener, but it's coming along. So this is kind of our main plot, but I want to show you a couple more things as well. And this one didn't get in till a few months ago. So originally here there was a lot of just brush and plants and all sorts of stuff. So we cleared that out a few months back. And so this is the first round in, and it's struggled. Corn over there has been attacked by ants and aphids. I'll try to go get a shot of that. So we just have some peppers, some beets, sunflowers here. That one's done all right. We have some carrots, some more of those traps for the ants and earwigs. We have some green beans over here that have done well and are producing. You can see one right there behind, but then the other guys down here all kind of died out. And the corn just hasn't come up very well. So let me see if I can get a shot of those aphids and ants. Yeah. There you can see aphids, ants, and you know, I don't have this on a drip system either yet, so it hasn't got enough water, consistent water, and corn needs a lot of nitrogen, I understand. So it produced some ears, but not, you know, nothing to write home about, that's for sure. So that's our side plot. And then the last thing I want to show you though is something very interesting. All right, the last thing I want to show you on this little tour of the garden is this tomato plant. So I know at first glance, you're kind of like, yeah, that's a sad, pathetic looking tomato plant. And yes, it sort of is. It is fruiting here at the bottom. But the unique story about this plant is that this thing is now at least a year old. So this was bought last year. I bought it from a nursery in 2020 in probably late September. And by that time, it was probably about this tall, which means it was probably about 5 to 8 weeks tall. So the seed was probably started last August. So this is an indeterminate tomato that has been out here the whole time. It went through frost. I mean, it froze over here in January, probably at least 2 or 3 times down to 28, 29 degrees. It survived that. We had a huge windstorm in January as well for like 3 days that just took out everything. It snapped this. This used to be tied to this string, and it snapped it over, and I thought it was, you know, gone. But here it is, a year later. It's producing fruit. I haven't seen anything like that. If any of you guys have, please let me know. I've tried to research that, but usually indeterminate tomatoes, you know, will die out. They'll die. But this plant, it's green. It's still flowering, and it's a year old as an indeterminate. So it's pretty remarkable, actually. This is kind of my baby. I love this thing. I want to see how long it's going to live and produce. So very unique. All right, well, I think that's going to do it on this one. Not a moment too soon. It's pretty hot out here today. So we'll catch you on the next one. I'm going to move these into the shade, and we'll check back in.